What's up, everyone? I'm C.O. Connolly, and today I come to you from a very tiny kitchen. This is literally the end of my kitchen. That's how far it goes. I'm going to be making my coffee while I talk to you this morning, and so if my thoughts are a little crazy, it's because I haven't had my coffee yet. But, so I just wanted to talk a little bit about my website, okay? I do sell my books on my website. I have noticed that a lot of authors and stuff like that generally tend to use their websites and stuff like that for like blogs. I don't know about indie authors. I think most indie authors sell their stuff on their website too. But back in the day, when I first started publishing, the website was basically for a blog. I don't really understand a blog. It's like a diary, I guess. So, anyway, well, plus at the time I didn't think I had enough books to put on my website, so I didn't see the actual point to have a website. So back then I didn't have one because I was thinking one book, even 2 books on a website, and I was like, it's really not much of a website, right? So I waited a long time. Well, I got my website after I had 3 books. So once I got Family Affair published, that's when I went ahead and I got my website. And then I ended up putting Fundamental Affair on there. Fruitful Affair is about to go on. So I've got all this stuff that I can now put on my website, right? Now, of course, it's literally just an e-commerce website, right? So I'm just selling my books. There isn't anything else that's on there. I mean, the notepads, but, I'm actually selling stuff. There's like a page where you can see all of the conventions that I'm going to be at or have been at, is how I see it. The ones in red are the ones that have passed. The ones that are in black text are the ones that are coming. So I have it set up that way. Well, so I have my website set up specifically to where it's basically just me. That's all it is. It's like a whole thing about, I'm trying to figure out what I'm supposed to say here. Oh, I need my coffee. Sorry, had to move you. Just quickly. And then my husband was messing with the tanks and left stuff on my counter where my coffee maker goes. I gotta rinse out my coffee cup. Oh, and, okay. So my husband was messing with the tanks and stuff like that over the weekend. I'm going to divert real quick. So he's messing with the tanks, right? Well, there's this cover that goes over our sink. And it's because, there's not a whole lot of counter space, so that gives us extra counter space. And, well, he was trying to do the hot water because he was dealing with our hot water smell and stuff like that. And there's like this anode or something, and it keeps giving off a weird smell on our hot water. Anyway, so he's trying to clean all that out. Well, on all of the faucets in here, they're backwards compared to an actual house. Like the way they would turn on and turn off is the opposite way that they would turn on and turn off in a house. So like the hot water and the cold water in our kitchen is backwards. Because normally in a house, from where I've always lived, hot is always when the handle is pushed away from you. And cold is when the handle is pushed towards you. Well, in here, it's hot is pushed towards you. Well, when my husband pulled the thing towards me, or towards him, to turn it on so he could get the hot water flowing so that we could empty out the hot water heater, or the hot water tank, he forgot to push it back. And we got groceries yesterday. So when I put them on the counter, I turned the water on. And there's a cover over the sink, so the water's not going in the sink at all. It's going all over the counter. Oh, it was awful. It was funny, but it was awful. Anyway, back to my story. So, I waited for a long time before I got my website, and it was specifically because of the fact that I didn't think I had enough to actually put on my website. And I want to say that that's not true. Okay, it's never a good thing, but I don't have any writer friends, right? And I don't know anybody personally that I can sit down with like as a writer and stuff like that, and actually talk to. I mean, I've got, every writer has those people in their life that's all like, oh yeah, I want to write a book too, and it's like, okay, cool. Like, you don't, but okay, I'm so glad that you want to. So we've all got those people that say they want to write a book, and you're thinking to yourself, cool, now I'm gonna get a writer friend, right? And it doesn't work out that way. Well, let me put it this way. When I published my first book, it was right around the time that I was trying to get like a fan page on Facebook, just to find out that I actually have to have a personal Facebook page. Well, back when I was a kid, I had a MySpace, but I never used it. So I didn't see the point in getting Facebook, because in my head I'm sitting there thinking, this is just another way for people not to interact with each other, right? That's just how I see it. Or at least that's what I think. I think that it's another way for people not to actually interact with each other. You're just going to, get online and talk to each other and chit chat, blah, blah, blah. But that, okay. And it's happened. It has totally happened. People would rather, talk to each other online because they have a little bit more courage to be, trashy people. This is why I don't get on Twitter, okay? Twitter is kind of Twitter's the mean kid of social media. That's kind of how I see it. I see Twitter as being the mean kid of social media. It's literally the one social media that I have that I got specifically because of the fact that I kind of thought that, if you want to be out there, then you have to have all social media. I post sometimes on Twitter. I mean, every so often, if I want to post something that I don't think really should go on Facebook, then yes, I'll put it on Twitter, but it's very rare. 9 times out of 10, I will type something out on Facebook and then completely delete the post. Just because I wanted to rant for a second, but I don't want anybody to actually see it. And in my head, ranting posts and stuff like that aren't really, especially when, you want customers and everything else, you really kind of have to get that professional, air about yourself. You don't want a customer or something like that to go onto your Facebook page and realize that you're kind of a dick. That's something that you don't want, because they will always go by your social media presence. And that's how some of these influencers and stuff like that keep getting in trouble, is because their social media presence every so often, without actually being able to, stop themselves, they randomly put some bullshit on, it's usually Twitter. It's usually Twitter is where they get in the most trouble, right? They just throw some shit out there on social media, and then all of a sudden it's like, why would you do that? Why would you say something like that? Because now you've got all these fans that are going to go, what a dick. It's easier that if you're going to rant or say something that could potentially piss off a large group of people, don't do it on social media where there's proof. Do it in the comfort of your own home with a friend or something. Somebody who's not going to judge you. But, back to the website thing. So, Shopify has this thing where you can connect your items to social media. So, whenever you post a picture of the item that you have on your store, you can get this little dot that will actually come up on your picture, and if they click on that dot, it will take them directly to your website, to that product, so they can see it, right? Well, here's the problem with that. Social media says, okay, we'll let you do that, but you have to pay us for advertising in order to receive that service. Okay, so that's one thing. Facebook is the worst at it. Facebook is the worst one. They want money so bad that legitimately there isn't a single thing I can do with my Shopify for Facebook at all until I pay for ads. Okay? And I'm the one who has always wanted to, I want to do this on my own, okay? I don't want to pay some social media bullshit to go and, place an ad for me up there, because let me put it this way, okay? I've always had this fear that the books that I write are going to attract the weird people. Like, not all of them, but there are going to be some weirdos that are just going to, like, at the Cult Classic convention in February, there was literally a guy that I talked to. He just had this demeanor about him, and he was asking me about Friendly Misfortunes. Well, Friendly Misfortunes is the guy who, taxidermies his victims. Well, the guy just kind of gave off this vibe, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh my god, I just gave him an idea to do with the people in his basement. He just gives off that vibe, and then they're going to find my book, and then they're going to want to talk to me, and, the cops are going to be like, what is this? And I'm going to be like, I didn't do it, that's literally what runs through my head. I'm always terrified that that's what I'm going to get. So I don't want to send an ad out to all these people who are potentially going to go, yes, that's how I want to kill my victims. I don't want to be the one caught in this. Let me put it that way. I don't want to be the one caught in this. I don't want to be the one that all of a sudden now the cops are going, so we found your book. Is this real life of what he did to all of his people? I don't even know the guy. I don't know what you're talking about. Please just let me go. Oh my gosh. Literally, that is me. So anyway, back to the story. So plus not only that, but I really want to do my own advertising. Okay. And I feel like the conventions are the best place to do that. I think the conventions are the way for me to be able to do my own ads or my own advertising and everything else. And I just got to think of a fun way to actually do this advertising, right? So I refuse to pay for social media ads. I'm pretty sure that at some point, maybe one day down the road, I'll probably pay for Facebook ads, right? But at this point in time, I'm not looking to do that. So I can't connect my Shopify store to Facebook or Instagram, for that matter, until I pay for advertising. Of course, Facebook and Instagram are the same friggin' company. Instagram is owned by Facebook. So I haven't paid for ads, so I can't connect my products so that whenever they click on them from the social media post, it'll send them to the website. But it doesn't matter to me because people are still clicking on my website from my social media. Where it's like link in bio. Yeah, they always click on it. So what the hell do I care? That's my biggest thing there too, is that, I still get the thing where they're clicking on my website anyway. I don't know why I would need them to go directly to a product. If they see something that they like on my social media, they'll click on my website anyway. So that's where I'm at on that. But I feel like my website's a little plain, but it's because I'm not technologically advanced. So because of my not so technology mind, I'm kind of behind on getting my website, I don't know, beautified. Making it look good. I have no idea. I don't know how this. So that's one thing. I literally have no. I think it looks good. It's a little plain, but I'm kind of plain. I'm not really too sure how much further I need to go. I'm literally at that point where I'm just like, okay, so how do I do this? Hey, I was able to figure out how to make my own little banner and my logo and all that other stuff. I managed to figure all that out. So I did that and I changed it on there. So it's no longer the stock photo. And the stock photo that I used was like the best one that I could use for my genre, right? I'm gonna move over to the couch now. So now I'm on the couch. Um, but my thing is that I feel like just because your website is plain doesn't mean it's not going to attract buyers. I've had sales on my website. My sales are low, so it's kind of a basic setup. But my inventory counts are also low, specifically because my sales on my website are low. But I feel like every author should literally have a website, because I know that before I got my website, especially when I first started selling my books at like these little events and stuff like that, which were set up by my neighborhood when I lived in the neighborhood, these little events would be set up and I would be selling my books and everything, which was cute, you know, whatever. But they would always ask if I had a website. And I'd always say, no, I don't have a website. So, of course, to them, it's like, oh, you're one of those. Like, I printed it in my basement or something. Of course, I live in Texas. We don't have basements in Texas. But you get the point. So, to say, no, I don't have a website, it basically means, you know, especially the way this one woman looked at me like, oh, you're a loser. I don't want your books. You know? Oh, I'm sorry. You only buy from one of the big five? Cool. Because, you know, that's my main thing. There's a lot of people out there who won't give an author a chance because they're self-published rather than being accepted from one of these big houses. But what they don't realize is that being self-published does not mean that you're a bad writer. Being self-published basically means it's because these large publishing companies have decided that you're not worth their time. It doesn't matter how good your book is. They may not have even read it. They may have only seen the fact that, I've never seen this name before, so sorry. You know, that's one of the worst things ever, is knowing that the reason why you're not going to get published is because your name isn't already out there. Like, exactly how is that supposed to help me? Having a website basically, it makes your books easily accessible, because when it comes to like Amazon or Barnes and Noble, Barnes and Noble is a little easier to find my books. On Amazon, not so much. I can type in my name, but because my last name can be spelled, I don't know, about 10 different ways. There's literally 2 actors with the last name Connolly, but they're spelled differently. So, and it's not even spelled like mine. So I'm pretty sure that it can be spelled like 10 different ways. So whenever I pop in my name, it always comes up on Amazon and it says, did you mean? By the way, sorry about that. Neighbor started his truck. So it says, did you mean? And then it wants to change my last name. And I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. And I have to scroll. So to me, it's always like, you know, it's harder to find my books if you're not looking directly at them, I guess you could say. And not only that, but with a title like Forbidden Affair, literally you get sucked into romance. And you can't really, I haven't even found it. It takes me a long time to get through it, and then I just can't deal with it anymore. So I haven't found it through the title. Maybe I'm not using Amazon correctly. I literally have no idea. I scan it and then tell my husband what I want, and then he goes through and, you know, buys stuff. I look for something specific. I don't know. Anyway, I've tried doing the whole author page, but
I have a hard time trying to figure all that out. So I just, whatever. Um, Barnes and Noble, on the other hand, if I type in my name, it will come up. Um, I do have the problem though with Amazon where it seems like I have to search. I can put in my name and then scroll like without the did you mean. My books aren't all lumped together, so it's too much. Let me put it that way. It's so much easier to have my website where the customers can come directly to my website because they want to read my books, specifically my books, right? So that makes it easier than having to go through Amazon and having to, weed through all the other books and everything else. And I mean, if they happen to find my book, I mean, I've sold copies on Amazon and I'm just like, okay, well, nobody told me they were buying. So cool. I've got somebody out there who has my books, which is fine. I don't care. I love that idea. So let somebody stumble across my books by accident on Amazon and I'm okay with that. But I figured that the website itself is just easier for whenever a customer says, like Stephen King, oh man, I love Stephen King. I want all his books. Of course, that's a lot, but whatever, right? So that's how I see it, especially with indie authors. With indie authors, it's always just a little easier if we have our own website. And we have to make sure that it has our style and our flair and, you know, things that are actually going to do good for us on the website. Mine is plain. I'm kind of a plain person, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I can. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I know that at some point I'll upgrade and make the website better, but for now, it's just going to be plain Jane. It's got my books on it. You know, that's just how it is. It's basically a place for whenever I meet people at the conventions, because a lot of people at conventions will not buy stuff at the convention. And it's basically their way of getting an idea of what they want to buy and who they want to buy from. So they'll buy all your cards and stuff, or they'll get all your cards and stuff like that because they saved money for signatures and stuff like that at these conventions. A lot of them, that's all they did. They just saved money to make sure that they could get their autographs. Other than that, they'll walk past the booths and they'll grab your cards, and they'll have websites and stuff like that, and then they'll go and they'll view your website, which is amazing because in May I had the most viewers on my website in one single month. So my views are going up. And I love the fact that I can see that. I can see how many visitors I've had to my website. And the fact that the month of May had the most all year is great. And I'm looking forward to that. My hope is that I won't be able to keep up with the sales. Eventually, that's what I hope for. Okay. And my husband and I have already picked out the house that we're going to put out on our property so we can get out of the RV. And I've already figured out how I'm going to set up my office. The problem is, though, is that, he has to have time off. Let me put it that way. My husband has to have time off to maintain, what we've got out there so we can get shit out there. Anyway, it's taking a lot longer than we expected, but that's okay. So, I think the whole point of this video was the fact that if you think that a website is not going to benefit you, literally it will. And with Shopify, as long as you have $30 a month, you're fine. Get a website. I think everybody should have a website. Let me put it that way. I think everybody should have a website. So if you get like a new friend or something like that, it's like, look me up. Have a website. Have a website. I'm just saying. Have a website so people can see who you are. And then even if you're not selling any products or anything like that, just have a rating system on there so people can see, oh, look, this person's got 5 stars. They must be really, really nice. I think that's how this should go now. I think that's how this should go. We should start doing that with society. Everybody should have a website. And whenever you meet this person, they have to give you a card with their website on it so they can go review you. Right? I mean, that makes sense. So then whenever you meet new people, and especially with women meeting prospective, man friends, they get to go to their website and find out, did somebody leave a review of this guy's creepy, he took me back to his apartment and I thought he was going to murder me type of thing. I mean, you got to know those kinds of things. You got to know. You want to make sure you're not going home with some weirdo, right? So why not? Everybody needs to have a website. Everybody can have, a review. And it's not even monitored by you. I don't know. My mind works in crazy ways. That's all I'm thinking. At this point in my timeline with Fruitful Affair, I am hoping that it gets published by November. And I believe I can actually get that taken care of. I am looking for November. That's just my long. If I have to do it in December, it'll be December. That's fine. Fundamental or Forbidden Affair was published in December of 2012, so it's okay. So if the first book and the last book are both published in December, yay! Anyway. Oh, and I have figured out, if I get Fruitful Affair finished and published by this year, I will have hit my life goal. I wanted to have 5 books published by 2020. I have 4 right now. Fruitful Affair will make number 5, and I will have hit my life's goal. So yay me. Literally, I was thinking it was gonna, but they have, and a lot of the stuff that I've read, really, Layla? And a lot of the stuff that I've read and seen, especially from authors and stuff, of course, most of these books are written in the 80s and 90s. They've said you have to have 5 books to get noticed. And they say noticed by strangers, not people that you know. So they're saying that you have to have 5 books to get noticed, right? So, of course, in my head, I'm sitting there thinking, okay, I need 5 books by 2020. And that's because of age, and I'm going to leave it at that. Anyway, so... so 5 books by 2020, and I'm happy with that. I'm hoping to make it. Has to be published by no later than December, which means I need to get this video edited and uploaded so I can start editing my book. Okay. Anyway, get a website. Doesn't matter how many books you have. You could have 1, or you could be in your work in progress. Just leave little snippets and stuff like that and be like, oh, this is where my work in progress is. And people can follow you along on your journey of, getting your book published and stuff like that. The thing is, though, is that just do it. Just publish your book. Get an editor and publish your book. Don't sit there and be like, oh yeah, I wrote like 100 books, but none of them's ever seen the light of day. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself. If you want to be a real, true writer, publish your books. Publish your book. You have to put them out there for you to know whether or not anybody's going to like them. You have to put them out there. Don't be scared. It's terrifying the first time. I will tell you that after about the 3rd time, just you'll start throwing them out there, and whatever. And then you'll notice you have a typo on the copyright page. So anyhow, that's it. This is pretty rambly and really long, so I've got to cut it down. Okay, bye.